evening and welcome to the Good evening and welcome to the September 20th South Lyon Community Schools Board of Education meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Mrs. Zertel, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Dashner.
Here.
Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Schwegler.
Here.
I'm here. Mr. Abate.
Here.
Mr. Leftwich.
Here.
Ms. Janklis-Pierce.
I am here.
Okay, we have 6 members present. We do have a quorum. Mr. Kennedy did say that he would be absent tonight due to a previous commitments, like the second meeting he's missed in his tenure on the board. I'll ask you all to now please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next thing on our agenda is the elementary summer school jumpstart programming.
All right, for the last few meetings, we've been learning about all of the summer school activities that we had throughout this past summer, and we are going to wrap up with our elementary summer jumpstart program. And here to share information are Emily Wrights and Amani Badillo.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Amani Badillo,
And I'm Emily Wrights.
and we were the administrators for our elementary Jumpstart program, and we'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to share a little bit about our program today.
Yeah, so as you've heard, I think from the middle school Jumpstart program and other summer programs, our purpose was to really help students jumpstart into their next grade level. And so we were able to support on reading, writing, and math. We used mostly small group instruction. We were able to keep our class sizes fairly small, and we incorporated a lot of project-based learning into our summer stuff. You'll see in a bunch of pictures that are coming. And we really focused on those social emotional skills by saying they had to be kind, be safe, and be responsible, keeping it simple.
We had kindergarten through 5th grade students for our program. It was 4 weeks, 4 days a week, Mondays through Fridays from 9 to 12. It was held at Pearson Elementary and taught by our certified South Lyon teachers. We had 15 classrooms, 2 classrooms per grade, 1 additional second grade, and 2 multi-language learner co-taught sections in first and second. And students were selected by building principals who recommended them for the program based on a variety of data points.
So here is our Jumpstart staff. We were lucky to have people from all over the district, and all the elementary schools were represented amongst our staff. We had paraprofessionals, and we also had staff from ECC. So it was exciting to see everyone come together and kind of get a chance to work together.
And here you see our wonderful food service and transportation team. Our food service department provided daily lunches, and on Thursdays for the first 3 weeks of the program, breakfast bags were sent home as well. For transportation, we had 5 bus routes that were daily to and from the program. So parents really loved that.
One thing we were really excited about is that we were able to put in a large book order, and we were able to get really high interest engaging books for all of our students who took them home in book bags every single day of our program. So the students were able to get new books from our program every single day that they were there, and you can see the kids reading here really enjoying the books that we were able to get.
Another highlight was writing. We wrote daily, and here you also see in the upper grades, technology was also incorporated as students worked on research reports.
And our 5th graders made some more ovens, solar ovens. You can see them there made out of pizza boxes. They were a major hit. The s'mores were not as tasty as if they were over a fire, they told me, but they did enjoy them. And we also were able to purchase a lot of math games to help reinforce fluency skills with students. And so you see students using playing cards and other games. They felt like they were really at camp and having fun, not really learning, but they were secretly learning.
As we mentioned, we focused on building social skills. So here you see circle time around the campfire, and you see a random act of kindness, so students helping each other out. So we were really focusing on those social skills as well, and that team building.
It wouldn't be elementary school without a little recess, so thank goodness Pearson had that beautiful recess playground, and we had a lot of really nice days. Kids enjoyed that.
This was a really big hit. We had, we made tie-dye bandanas. Every classroom made that, and the students got to wear it on the last day of the program, and while they enjoyed popsicles with their friends.
And Hattie made an appearance as well. Our therapy dog, she came every Thursday, roamed the halls. Mrs. Bentz, Hattie's handler, was very excited because she needed to get into school and have a little bit of experience, so she was able to join us on Thursdays.
We administered an end of the program survey, and we sent that to all of our staff and families, and 100% of the staff believed that the program was a productive learning environment for the students. 95% of families surveyed strongly agreed that their children enjoyed attending Summer Jumpstart. We really received some wonderful feedback from both the staff and the parents that will help us move forward and make our program even better in the future. Just some quotes for you to see, some family quotes. My child had a wonderful time attending this fantastic program. Another family said, "Great camp, everything is beyond excellence." A staff member said, "It has been an absolute pleasure to take part in the Summer Jumpstart program. I think that students exiting our program feel successful in growing as readers, writers, mathematicians, and friends," and that really was our vision.
And students had a similar feeling, so we were able to give students a pre-assessment and a post-assessment, and overall the perception of their self was that they improved in reading, writing, and math by the end of the program.
And we'd like to give a special thank you to Kelly Ingram and the central office team, Monica and Anne Marie, for all their support. Pearson building engineer Ross and the custodial staff for making sure everything was in place for us. Kathy Vines, who helped with the deliveries of all of the materials that were ordered. Chester for the technology piece. Transportation department and lunch services. Our transportation department worked so hard developing bus routes. Our fabulous bus drivers, we're so grateful for them, and our lunch services who ordered all of the meals and prepared them and delivered them to all of our students. Our Jumpstart staff for all of their hard work, and of course our families for their partnership and commitment to the program. We know that the program is successful because of everyone involved, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whatever would have thought summer programs would have smiles all around. Our next item tonight is public comments. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. Next item is approval of agenda. Anyone like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
Okay, motion made by Ms. Youngquist Pierce, supported by Mr. Leftwich. Any comments or questions or additions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Up next, we have approval of the minutes. We have the August 16th, 2022 regular meeting and the September 7th, 2022 special meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as listed in item 6.
Support. Okay, motion by Mrs. Youngquist Pierce, supported by Mr. Schwegler. Any comments, questions, discussion? Okay, Mrs. Ertel, if you could call the roll, please.
Yes, Ms. Youngquist Pierce?
I vote yes.
Mr. Leftwich?
Yes.
Mr. Abate?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Schwegler?
Yes.
Mr. Dashner?
Vote yes. Motion passes 6-0. Item 7, approval of the bills. We have the August 2022 wires and ACH transactions, the August 2022 revenue report, August 2022 prepays, and the September 2022 bond run.
I'll move to approve the bills as presented.
Support.
Okay, moved by Mr. Schwegler, supported by Mrs. Youngquist Pierce. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Telly, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Schwegler?
Yes.
Mr. Dashner?
Yes.
Mr. Leftwich?
Yes.
Ms. Youngquist Pierce?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Abate?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 6-0. Item number 8, hiring of instructional staff. Mr. Toth?
Thank you. Since our August meeting, we've continued to add additional staff to help with our teaching, and we are fortunate to have 17 additional staff members that are on the agenda for this evening. We have 2 of them that are here tonight, both from Kent Lake, and ironically, both local products of South Lyon, the community. I believe Hannah Wortham is teaching 5th grade at Kent Lake and is a full-time South Lyon student, correct, Hannah? All right, and Mackenzie Travis is teaching kindergarten at Kent Lake, so both Kent Lake, and they wore their Kent Lake jean jackets tonight for the occasion. So thank you both for doing that, and welcome. And to the board, our recommended action is to approve the hiring of our new teachers listed above as described.
Thank you. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the hiring of the teachers listed as described.
Support.
Okay, moved by Mr. Abate, supported by Mrs. Younkless Pierce. Comments, discussion?
Welcome, everybody, to the district, and great job, Brian and Mr. Toth, on continuing to hire and fill our positions.
A lot of new hires this year. Mr. Tell, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, I vote yes. Mr. Dashner?
Yes.
Ms. Youngless Pierce?
I vote yes.
Mr. Leftwich?
Yes.
Mr. Abate?
Yes.
Mr. Schweigler?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 6-0. Brings us to item number 9, acceptance of gifts. Mr. Toth?
The South Lyon East Special Education Department received a donation of gifts, including sensory equipment, adaptive technology, fidgets, flexible seating, and many other wish list items from Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation, Freddie Bello. The items are to be used in all classrooms that they deem necessary and supportive of all students. The total value of the gifts is approximately $3,400. A recommended action is to approve the gifts in accordance with policy 7003.
Thank you. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the acceptance of the gift from the Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation.
Support.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Younkless Pierce, supported by Mrs. Ertel. Comments, questions, or discussion? No, I'd just like to say that when we had the autism acceptance night at South Lyon East, Freddie the Pizza Man did show up there, and I was able to talk to him for a little bit. He's a pretty genuine and nice guy. I was able to thank him on behalf of the school board for his generous donation. Mr. Tell, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Schweigler?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Leftwich?
Yes.
Ms. Youngless Pierce?
I vote yes.
Mr. Dashner?
I vote yes.
Mr. Abate?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 6-0. That brings us to our information and inquiry section. First thing up under administration is the South Lyon bond update. We have Stephanie from Barton Mallow and Charlie from IDS here to give us a short presentation tonight.
Thanks everyone for having us. So this is kind of our quarterly update. I think it's been a few months since now, probably back in March since we did our last one. So this update will be primarily construction. That's kind of what's been happening the last few months since our last update, and Charlie will kind of follow up with some design updates at the end here. Again, just for anyone that isn't aware, I'm Stephanie Bahajer, the project manager at Barton Mallow for the bond projects, and here with me obviously as well as Charlie Haas on behalf of IDS from the architects. So up here is a quick list of all the projects that we have either completed or are ongoing currently. I'll go through them in detail through the presentation with some project photos and updates. So to start, going by bid pack 6 over at South Lyon High School, the Science Lab renovations Phase 1. Just a reminder, we did break this project in half. So Phase 1 was the air handler replacement. Phase 2 will be the actual lab renovations coming next year. So with the air handler replacement, it was quite a project. We took 3 air handlers that were existing within 2 different mechanical rooms, removed all 3 air handlers, took the wall down between the mechanical rooms to create one large room to fit this 4-piece, basically giant unit that we were putting in place. So on the left-hand side here, you can see this was our crane pick day to set the unit. So there's that crane sitting in the loading dock, as well as in the bottom left there, you can see a couple of the other pieces that are shrink wrapped in white. All the pieces came in 4 different sections, ranging from 6,000 to 10,000 pounds each. On the right-hand side, that was the first piece, the largest piece that we set. We had to open up a 20 by 30 opening in the roof to get all these units set in, and then obviously go back and re-roof it after the fact. So it was quite a project in itself. Moving on to the next slide, you can see the unit now. On the left side, that was the day we placed it, and on the right, that was about 2 weeks ago. You can see all the plumbing, piping, mechanical, and electrical that's been run since. So we did get the air handler set, intact. Cooling is running. We got that running the weekend before school started, and then all of our heating components with this will be complete this week in preparation for the heating season. So that was phase 1, like I said, of bid pack 6 for the science lab renovations. We'll move on to phase 2 next year. Moving over to East High School for bid pack 7. This included the auxiliary gym addition that's ongoing, as well as the foods lab room conversions that have been completed. So looking at the exterior of the gym here, the brick is about 95% complete. The only thing that's left is a little opening we had left to be able to get in and out of the building to pour our concrete slabs. Metal panel install will start Friday to conclude the basically enclosing of this structure. So on the right-hand side, you'll see the roofing is complete now. That is a picture taken from on top of the roof of the aux gym, and our air handlers have all been set. And the inside, the interior masonry walls are ongoing. There's one athletics classroom, as well as 3 different storage areas, a part of beneath that mezzanine level there. And then the rest of the gym is obviously wide open, will be a wood gym floor and a little turf strip as well. And then on the right side, that was the day the last concrete slab pour was ongoing. All of them are complete now and fully cured. Moving inside, so the existing foods lab inside East High School, it had not been used to its fullest extent, and the building was in need of 2 new student classrooms. So we essentially built a wall in the middle of the foods lab, demoed everything inside of it, and created 2 what you would see if you've been inside the school, kind of standard student classrooms that are now being used for, I think, foreign language right now, but they are in use now with the school, so they did gain 2 extra student classrooms. Bid pack 8, moving back over to South Lyon High School. This was the main corridor flooring replacement project. So we did remove all of the ceramic tile that was existing down this main corridor from the pool, basically the pool area to the auditorium. Terrazzo was installed, as you can see in the right photo, 2 different colors, kind of keeping it consistent and having a little breakup of that throughout that corridor. And then on the left-hand side, that's a walk-off type carpet that was installed at each vestibule area to help kind of aid in the sense of people coming in from the outside, getting leaves and dust and everything off their shoes. I've actually been told by the building that has been very helpful the last day. I think it was yesterday when we had a huge storm in the morning. It actually caught a bunch of the leaves right on the walk-off carpet and didn't tread it through the building. So that was nice to hear. But that was a nice improvement to that corridor. Definitely a little nice upgrade there. So moving on to bid pack 10, which is the site athletics project. This will range for the next 2 years, actually, across the 2 high schools, which is going to be all of the turf fields and the tennis courts. This past summer, we did complete the crack fill and resurfacing of the East High School tennis courts. Here's a couple pictures of them there. Again, these were not reconstructed. This was just a resurfacing of the existing. And then at South Lyon High School, this was a complete reconstruction of the tennis courts. There's a little bit of fencing completion to remain, and then obviously the site restoration around there where you see the dirt, all that will be growing grass. Moving over to the ball field, so still at South Lyon High School, this is the varsity baseball field. They're currently working on doing final grading in preparation for turf install on the infield. Up at varsity softball, they're doing subgrade and fencing. And then over at JV, they have some fencing to install as well, and we'll get grass growing here in all those fields in the next couple months in preparation for the seasons to start next spring. Turf install is also slated to start the first week of October as well, and it'll go for about 2 weeks to complete the infield of baseball and then the entirety of the softball field. And then we will move on to do the aux field at South Lyon High School, and then come to next year, 2023, move over to East High School and do essentially the same project, copy and paste over there. So both high schools will have the same turf fields. Then at Millennium High School, we did a complete parking lot replacement with some select concrete this summer. So all of the asphalt surfaces minus the bus loop, because that was in better shape than the rest of the parking lots, have been replaced. New striping, as you can see in the picture there on the top right, and quite a bit of concrete replacements as needed across the whole site. Just included a few pictures here for some to see from a few weeks ago, but basically anything that was kind of in poor shape, cracked, failing, we had pulled out and replaced over there. And then landscaping as well has taken place. That dirt mound is gone. And then moving on to bid pack 13, which is Bartlett Elementary School, the addition and renovations. So over here, this is on the left side picture. I'll just kind of explain where. So this is standing at the entryway into Bartlett. We added a set of secondary doors to kind of create an enclosed vestibule there. The middle picture is standing in the corridor side, looking at the new set of doors. And then on the left-hand side, that's the new door into the media center that we had to create when doing all these renovations. The far right-hand side was, I guess, what I would call the previous circus hallway, the gym hallway. So it was a yellow hallway with a bunch of wood structures on the walls. We had removed those, prepped the walls, painted them, kind of a big refresh to that whole look of there. And then that display case did get painted as well. Moving into the media center, all the flooring was replaced. You can see all the carpet there. Everything has been moved back in, but I tried to get a nice good picture of the flooring incomplete. And then on the exterior of the building, basically the southwest corner, outside of the gym, we added those darker gray set of double doors, which leads into a new gym storage room, which will aid the building maintenance and operations in storing I think snow removal equipment, things they need for seasonal usage, so just some good upgrades to help the building maintain. And then moving to the back, here is our Bartlett addition. This will be a 4-classroom addition. Underground plumbing is very pleasant to look at, obviously, but these were the pictures I had. So that's what's ongoing right now. Our first concrete slab pour will actually be tomorrow. And what I realized I don't have a picture of is we did complete the basketball court installation as well. That has been completed, and they are currently using that with the current school session. So the Bartlett addition obviously will go on through next year, probably roughly February, and it will be open for usage for teachers for the fall of 2023. Over at ECC, we actually completed this project a few months ago. Back in June, we picked a time where the building it would be least disruptive to the building, which was a couple weeks in June that they had kind of a program pause. So we did replace all of the parking lots, new striping, and then that far right picture, we created a sidewalk leading from the ECC parking lot to the city lot. So now essentially, there wasn't a place we could add parking to the ECC site. So our best option was adding a sidewalk for events. You can park in the city lot, walk down the sidewalk, and get to ECC. Bid pack 15, which is our district-wide renovations package. So here at the admin building, as you have probably been able to tell driving by, some very, very necessary infrastructure upgrades to keep the building intact. So the shingle roof was at the end of its useful life. We have replaced that. The trim replacements integral to that have been ongoing, with painting incomplete to follow that. And then also coming are rooftop replacements and window replacements and parking lots as well in the coming months. Over at Dolson, so throughout the summer, we did replace all of the windows incomplete. So there's a picture there on the right side of the new windows. They all got new roller shades on the interior of the classrooms as well, because the previous windows had integral window shades. And then on the left-hand side, you can see that is standing in the corridor looking at the main vestibule. So we added a new set of double doors there, as well as a door leading into the office. Also, we replaced an exterior gym door that was in a failing condition, as well as added a removable mullion to the western set of double doors to aid in deliveries to the building. This building was the only one that did not have a removable mullion, which made deliveries kind of a pain in a sense. So hopefully that will help that building in fast-tracking things. And then over at Sayre, on the top left there, that's the main office. We did replace all the flooring. They had some old carpeting in there that was in need of a refresh, so there's an LVT material in there throughout principal's office, conference room, main office area. On the bottom left corner, we did add another secondary set of doors similar to at Bartlett and Dolson, kind of creating that interior vestibule feel there. And then the two pictures on the right-hand side are what we're calling a collaboration room we built within the confines of the media center. This building didn't have a room that was very helpful to housing kind of large conferences or meetings. Their conference room within the main office was a little small, so this was a need, and this will help kind of aid them in having some better gatherings and meetings within the building. So you can see kind of on the bottom right picture there, that's some of the furniture they've already moved in there to help with some of those needs. And then lastly, Bid Pack 16 was our playground replacements, phase 2. This summer we did Kent Lake, Bartlett, and ECC. So here over at Kent Lake, there was a couple structures that were near the end of their useful life. We had to replace those with these two large structures. On the right-hand side, a couple other pieces of equipment that were added as well. There's a little sensory dome in the back behind that piece as well. And then over at Bartlett, this was also a brand new structure. They also got a new rocket ship. That was one of them that we added at a couple schools last summer. And then a whole new bank of swings beyond that structure. You can see kind of behind that, and a couple of relocated items as well. And I guess my ECC picture is not there. But there was one older fire truck climber at ECC that got pulled out, and a new sensory dome climber was put in there as well. So that's the extent of the construction updates for the last few months. Before I turn it over to Charlie, I'll just note that our projects for the South Lyon High School Natatorium addition and science room renovations, we did open bids for those earlier today, a couple hours ago. We're currently working through all those numbers and starting to schedule post bids in that, so we'll come to one of the next few, sorry Steve, I saw your fingers crossed, board meetings with some more information in regards to that as well, but we need some time to kind of go through those numbers and do some post bids. So with that, I'll turn it over to Charlie to talk on any future upcoming design items.
Good evening, everybody. Just as a reminder, I'm Charlie Haas with IDS, the project manager and an architect. Just one quick construction item I wanted to add on to. It's not in Bart Mal's scope, but IDS is doing it, is the classroom interactive technology that's currently ongoing throughout multiple schools. I don't know which ones are complete at this time, but I know a handful of them are. Some of them have the interactive flat panels. Some, I believe, also are getting interactive projectors. That's continuing to be ongoing. If you have a chance to stop by one of the schools that's had them completed, I highly recommend it. They're pretty slick systems. But that should be completed here in the coming months. It is quite an intensive process, but it is ongoing. But as Stephanie mentioned, I'm going to be touching base on the upcoming design work. It's been a while since we've had the ability to do any design work, just because the amount of work that we had to push off because of the current market really put us at a little bit of a design pause. So as we restart this, we're really being conscious of targeting projects that either have equipment that's long lead times or items that we feel can be bid as close to the original bond budget, that there's a lot less volatility to that particular market, such as paving, as well as continuing our playground enhancements. So with that being said, we are looking to restart our design efforts on South Lyon East. We do have full paving replacement as well as expansion over there. So we will be looking at doing this in 2 phases, with the east lot being a 1-for-1 replacement and a little bit of an expansion over on the west side. Kent Lake is also looking to get a 1-for-1 asphalt replacement with select concrete. Sayre basketball court will get resurfaced, and then there's also some miscellaneous concrete replacements at South Lyon High School. The middle schools, since they share site athletics, we do have some work for them in there as it relates to the track and the tennis courts. We've evaluated the existing conditions, and we're currently going through those efforts with the respective athletic directors and facilities to best develop our approach for those. And then Brummer and Hardy will round out our playground replacements, with the exception of Pearson. That will be taking place later, just since it's newer to the district. But Brummer and Hardy will also have new playground equipment next summer. So I know this could probably be kind of overwhelming and also probably very difficult at the same time to read now that I'm looking at it. But just kind of a little bit of a Reader's Digest version of this. Anything that's in purple is what we've kind of identified as items that we want to look to start our design kickoff here in the end of 2022, start of 23, with some of these being identified already for 2024 construction, as you can see those. I'll just say, because it is a little bit difficult to read, that some of those include kitchen equipment and renovations at the respective high schools, renovations to Millennium Middle School, media center improvements, as well as the STEM curriculum, STEM and CTE curriculums at both high schools. So that is going to be what we are looking to start here. Continue efforts in design in the fourth quarter here, as well as start some additionally in the first quarter of next year, with the idea that those will be 2024 construction. But we definitely want to get ahead of some of those scope items that have long lead times: mechanical equipment, electrical, food service, et cetera. So I wasn't sure if there's any questions for either of us.
Charlie, if I can, and I apologize for not prepping you with this question in advance, but, and either for you or Stephanie, because we've done a lot through ARC and the various committees of adjusting schedules and adjusting work to account for some of the extended leave times and increased costs and so forth. But can you just kind of summarize right now, maybe where the market's at in terms of what you're experiencing, how lead times have increased, are costs leveling off, you know, just a, 20, 30 minutes on the auction market.
Want a thesis on that. So
All right, 3 minutes.
I'll leave the bulk of this to Stephanie, but I'll say that I know on our end, what we're seeing a lot of, particularly in the K-12 market, are items like unit ventilators, which are very popular or very common used mechanical items. We see that as being a longer lead time right now. Roofing continues to be a long item. Steel sounds like it has leveled off a little bit. So we're on these larger projects such as the pool, we're able to accommodate those kind of items into our schedule. I don't know if there's any other items that are of note.
Kitchen equipment is one of the longer lead times and one of the more expensive items. That's kind of why we paused on the South Lyon High School kitchen renovation. So we want to make sure we give ourselves enough time. The equipment has been known to lead almost a year out. So that's something why we want to bring it up to design phase sooner than later. Like Charlie said, a lot of mechanical equipment as well. Our air handler for South Lyon High School, that large one, that was about a 32-week lead time. That's why we pre-purchased that. So we have those options as well that we're kind of looking at if those are necessary things that we need to do to get these projects going. Like Charlie said, steel is actually, the price has leveled, but the lead time has went down significantly. As we know, for the aux gym, the steel lead time is what kind of messed with that schedule, opening the bids, and that was a 50-week lead time for steel. We're down to about 10 now. So unfortunately, prices haven't plummeted, which is unfortunate, but they've leveled, and roofing is obviously the one volatile price where basically roofers are kind of saying it's one price when we bid it, and then there's going to be a different price when we award it. So that's something that we're working through on how to handle those, but I haven't heard of anything else in excess of different lead times. Heavy electrical equipment, which we don't have a lot of in this bond specifically, which is nice, but those are things that also have been trending very expensive and very long lead times. But outside of that, I don't think we've seen much. Things seem to change every week, but.
Thank you, and we appreciate you staying on top of that and helping us adjust accordingly.
I don't know if this is a question for you guys or for the committee, but have there been any projects that have been scrapped due to the rising costs? Or has everything just been kind of pushed back in hopes that we can come back and bid these projects out down the road?
Mostly pushed back in hopes. I mean, obviously there's some projects that are over budget. Our hope is that we can kind of say, hey, we're gonna hold on something, but then come back and say maybe paving came under budget and we can make up for that. So that's our hopes, is kind of to push things out and hold on them. For the instance of, say, kitchen equipment, that's really expensive and long lead time right now, but holding on it, are we gonna, make out and it be okay when we go to bid it in a year later, essentially. So that's why we're trying to make those big decisions ahead of time and hope that we can kind of make up for something later on in the bond. So originally, the end of the bond was pretty light. Now it's gonna look kind of heavy because we're trying to make those decisions and hope that we can come back around and have the right choice with the lead times and the pricing and everything.
I'd also say that probably one of the things that has changed most dramatically on that schedule is just how we repackage things, looking for, economy of scale. whereas probably some of those paving projects were large enough to stand alone in previous years. Now, if we look to put all of those together, we're actually running a better opportunity of getting more bids. It's kind of crazy to think that you have to think that way, but that's just the way that the market is, obviously.
Sounds like that's all. Thank you both for coming in and for the
Thank you.
presentation. Okay, under administration, legislation.
Nothing to report this evening.
Okay, board.
Do we want to, the governor did appoint the parents to the new parent committee that has, I don't know the exact number, I want to say 10 representatives from around the state who are going to aid the governor in making decisions about how to spend the education budget. So there will be strong community involvement in how that education funding is spent. Oakland County, I believe it's a representative from Bloomfield Hills.
Thank you. Board committee reports, legislative, Mr. Leftwich.
I was actually unable to make the last meeting, so no report from me.
Okay. Okay, policy, Mr. Abate.
Yes, we met tonight. As you guys know, and for the benefit of the public, we utilize Miller Johnson's board policy and administrative regulation manuals. Occasionally, updates to those come out based on perceived needs and tweaks and those sorts of things. We have a packet of updates that we've been considering to add to ours. Some just more reflective of the procedures that we actually use, and others reflective of just sort of new things that are out there that are needed to be addressed. And we got through half, about half.
Yep.
Yeah, which was it's a good amount. So, yeah, we're on the way.
Okay, thank you. Finance? Mr.
Yeah,
Schlegel?
we met last week. Just a couple quick items of note. One, we are on target for student count. So we'll be awaiting those results sometime next month, I believe. We'll get the audited results. But so far, it's tracking towards projection, which is great. Only one downside from the meeting, and that was basically an error in the Excel document that's used to kind of track the budget, and one of the revenue items was double counted. So there's somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think it's about 1.3 million that we don't actually have that showed up in the report, just because it was double counted. But the expenses were all tracking well. We're still in a really healthy position, but it'll just, impact future decisions to make sure we're not putting ourselves in a bad spot.
Thank you. Facilities and planning?
Uh,
Mr. Tell?
Charlie and Stephanie did a fine job of reporting on the committee's behalf. So I
Pretty
didn't have to
much.
do it.
Still wanted to
Nice
give you the
job.
opportunity. Curriculum and communications, Mr. Kennedy's not here tonight. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
We haven't had a meeting yet this year.
Next week, right?
I believe it is next week, yep.
Okay. Other? Superintendent Archibald, is there any other?
Three quick things. We have a lot going on the safety and security front, so I just want to provide a little bit of an update there. We have contracted with a firm, Security Educational Consultants. They will be doing policy and procedure reviews and site visits to all of our facilities. They'll give us some feedback in terms of what we have in place that is sound, and also some suggestions in areas that we may want to focus. We'll turn around and take that work back to our safety advisory team and look to utilize much of the safety and security dollars that's in the state aid budget for us this year. So those visits are actually going to start this week and into next week. In addition, we're contracting with a firm to do what's called critical incident mapping of all of our facilities. This is something that was new to me, and again, both of these are covered by grant funds, so there's no cost directly to the district. But with this one, basically taking all of our facilities and mapping them in a grid type format. If you envision, most of the first responders that would come in a critical incident are not familiar with our facilities. And so these maps are in a clear and concise grid-type format and coded consistently. They'll be shared with all our law enforcement, so we look forward to having those done. I've viewed the presentation as well as Deputy Biggers and Chris Bollinger, and we agreed to move forward with that. So again, a lot going on. Again, we do think that we have many sound practices and procedures in place, but there's absolutely no question along the safety and security front that if you aren't continually looking at it, in my mind, you're putting folks at risk, and that's unacceptable. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Reports, Southline Educational Foundation, Ms. Youngquist Pierce.
So the foundation will be hosting its Boo Bowling event on October 23rd. Information will be shortly available on the Southline Educational Foundation website. There will be a number of gift baskets that will be raffled off, and we typically have a lot of great silent auction items that are generously donated by our various school principals, and we've had in the past administration donated a movie here at the admin building with pizza, and we've had things like a fire truck ride to school. So it is a great event with a lot of experiences, and it helps to raise money for the foundation. And they will also be looking to give some additional grants over the next month.
Thank you. That brings us up to our second opportunity for public comments. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Okay, seeing none. Item 13 is correspondence. We do have a few resignations listed there. We do wish the staff well in their new adventures that they're seeking. Item 14, we have our meeting dates listed for the rest of the year. And that brings us to item number 15, board comments. Mr. Abate, would you like to lead us off?
Sure, yeah. Welcome to our new hires. As always, it's wonderful to welcome a new group of staff to work with our students. Appreciate the presentations, the Jumpstart programming. To see a group of staff smiling in that picture when they're putting in a bunch of time in the summer, and then a lot of kids who put in a bunch of time in the summer to learn and really enjoyed that, is a great thing. And it's a win-win all the way around the board. Appreciate the updates as well regarding the bond. I know that, so the air handler thing, it seemed like, so that to get that in and get the air run in, like just under the wire there, seems like that was pretty impressive, just based on the pictures. I don't know anything else. But
Labor Day weekend until 5 p.m. on Saturday.
that's amazing. Yeah, well, I mean, thank the whole galaxy of humans that are involved in that. Yeah, that's great. I'm sure that staff and students are undoubtedly pleased with that development now. Yeah, that's great. And I just hope that the year has started smooth for everyone and it's going well. There was, obviously I didn't get around to like a whole bunch of open houses, but the open houses that I know of, Hardy and Millennium, the energy was great, and Millennium in particular it just kind of felt amazing to go back there. My son's starting there, that's where I used to teach, so it just was really cool. But the stat, like, I'm hearing from all over the place, people are just this overwhelming sense of relief that the year is rolling like it always used to, like feeling, normal. So that has to be a good thing, and there was definitely a great energy in the building when we were there. So I want to thank the staff for that across the district, and that's all I got. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you. Mr. Leftwich.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I would echo everything Mr. Abate said, certainly. I will add one thing to that, though. It's our first meeting since the Labor Day holiday, and I just wanted to acknowledge all of the district employees. I asked Mr. Archibald how many we have, and it's 891 employees here. We take our jobs on this board as employers very seriously, and thank you all for all of your labors. We entrust our children to you every day, and thank you for everything you do for them to make their experiences possible. So just a little gratitude coming your way. Thank you very much for your labors.
Thank you. Mrs. Ertel?
Welcome to the new teachers. The open house curriculum night over at the high school was a fun event. It felt like there was like even more parents than pre-COVID. So I think, especially at the high school level, sometimes it gets a little bit light, but it seemed like it was almost elementary level amount of parents showing up, so that was fun. I think we're getting to the time of a lot of sports getting into their conferences. I know South Lyon High School just won their Lakes Valley Conference last night, so they've got their conference games coming up. I'm sure I saw something about, and I apologize, someone's cross-country did something fantastic in the last couple of days. So I think everybody, all the sports are kind of getting into that mode of conferences and districts, so good luck to everybody, and hopefully the weather holds out like it has so far. I've enjoyed not freezing while sitting in the stands, so, and that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Swigler?
Congratulations, yes, to the new staff. It's great to see those coming in, and wish those well who are choosing new adventures elsewhere. It was really great to see all of the progress on the bond work. I live right across the street from South Lyon East, so I'm just watching that go up. It's just amazing, and it's amazing to me that to install some mechanical equipment, you literally have to take the roof off to get it in because it's that large. And somehow that's more cost effective than assembling it piece by piece. So it's just been great to see that. I've been getting out to a few of the activities around the community. I really like sports season, so it's been fun to go watch a few of those events, and looking forward to watching the rest of the season.
Thank you. Ms. Youngcliffe Pierce?
I too would like to welcome all of our new teachers. Very excited to have those positions filled. Sad to have teachers leaving our district, but again, wish them all the best. Kudos to the team of people, administrators and students, and coaches who over the past couple weeks have put together our Autism Acceptance Awareness Night and the Victory Day that occurred on Saturday. It is unbelievable to see how selfless our students are and how invested they are in helping other people. And if you ever get the chance to attend a Victory Day, it's very humbling to see all of the different football players, coaches, the announcers, which are phenomenal for the game, the cheerleaders, the pom team, the band, that all come together on a Saturday after having a football game on Friday and make this day absolutely phenomenal for the special education department. It makes such a difference to those students, and I cannot say enough to all of the people who are recognizing students who may not be able to play sports in our district and giving them an opportunity. So just absolutely amazing work, and it's just great to see our students taking that on. Thank you to all of the PTOs who are starting strong this year. There are a lot of fundraising efforts going on to really help support the students and staff throughout the year. There is a tremendous amount of work that goes into that and requires a lot of time and effort of parent and community volunteers, and the schools would not be able to do what they do without your support. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And for me tonight, it's probably repeating most of what other people said, but I do want to thank Emily and Amani for coming in for the elementary Jumpstart. That program at all three levels that happened over the summer, it's the feedback that's come out of it has been great. And I'm just glad we're able to do that. Hopefully it makes a difference with some of the students. Again, echoing Stephanie, is I was happy to see another successful Victory Day at South Lyon High School, which special ed students, I didn't make this one, but I've been to them in the past, and she is right as they are. It is truly a humbling event to witness and participate in. The Autism Acceptance Night at South Lyon East, I do want to give a shout out to Justin Wagner. The whole event was kind of his brainchild. I know he had a lot of help in pulling it off, and I watched him sweating bullets trying to make sure everything was in line that Friday night when we had it, but everything went off good. He learned a lot from it, and looking to the start of a new yearly event for them. Bond projects, thanks to Stephanie and Charlie for coming out tonight and giving that. I do like the fact that you highlight some of the more mundane projects we do, like door replacements and hallway resurfacing, things like that. Our district has been very proud of the condition we keep our buildings in, and it's, the support of the bond projects and being able to do the small things like replace doors and replace carpeting and things like that that keep our buildings in good condition. So I want to thank our partners for that, but then also the community for that supports that. And then lastly, I'll say welcome to all the new hires. Hopefully that's it for a while, but something tells me there'll probably be a couple more that sprinkle out, maybe some bus drivers and grounds and janitors, but we'll see. With that, I am done. I'll ask if anybody would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Okay, a motion by Ms. Youngquist Pierce, supported by Mr. Leftwich. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0. We are adjourned at 7:50 PM. Thanks, everyone.
You okay for me to plug it?
Yep.
Nice work, everybody. Good job, good job.
Don't forget to not take your